you screw up just this much, you'll be flying a cargo plane full of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong.
Hello, Melon. Yeah, hang on. Let me jump in chat for you, mate. Yeah, I'm in chat now, mate.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
How are you?
Alright, yeah?
Oh, not bad. Just got done with the job. About to drive home. My other phone's on roaming, the phone that I would tune into your stream on, so I can't really watch the stream. But I can use my other phone to talk on Discord.
It's all gravy.
Got my headset on.
What have you been up to?
Working. My new job finally decided to start sending me some business. I'm servicing places I've never serviced before, so it's a bit of a learning experience.
It's like Apple.
Yeah, I'm servicing Apple. I went to a Banana Republic. You know, these are all places that I've never serviced before, and you know, I don't mind it. You know, it's not hard to learn. You know, that's not. I kind of enjoy learning their networking. The only thing that bothers me is not knowing what the expectation is for these various companies.
Yeah.
You know, they're not really forthcoming on, you know, what's expected as far as, you know, what am I responsible for with these stores? Like with my previous company, you know, it was all detailed in the case notes. You would see exactly, you know, what it is you can and can't do and all that. It doesn't really say. You know, and they were supposed to train us on these companies before they started sending us out to it, but they're just sending us out. You know, I'm gonna walk into an Apple store for the first time as, you know, a technician for an Apple store. You know,
No,
which I don't think that's very smart.
Well, no, it's not ideal, is it, really?
No, and they sent me a install diagram, you know, for what I'm gonna be working on. You know, the way it's supposed to look, but that's all they sent me. There's no other training, no other nothing. You know, and they told us when they brought us on that, you know, we would go out there with guys who've already done this kind of work, you know, for our first visits. But nope, which I expected. I figured that they would just send us out, you know, and just school of hard knocks. You learn it the hard way. Which really isn't that bad. I mean, I'm a reasonably intelligent person. I can figure it out, but still, it's just like having some prior knowledge makes the job so much easier and faster.
Yeah.
You know, all these companies that I'm used to servicing, I see a problem and I see this stuff. Experience tells me this is what I do. You know, I don't have that, and I have no point of contact. You know, there's no one nearby that has worked this kind of job for a while that I can call and say, hey, you know,
give me a hand.
Yeah. Can you help me with this? Because that's how it worked with my previous job. You know, help was only a phone call away. There was 70 other guys that you could call. You know, hey, I got this problem at this subway. I can't figure this out. Call this guy. He does subways all the time. If you have a problem, he'll tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10 times, there was someone that you could get a hold of that could help you. It might take you a few minutes to find the right person, but there was always someone who would help you. And everyone had always been in that situation before. So if you called and you were in that kind of a situation, they did everything they could to help you, because they know that you can't go home until you get the job done.
Yeah.
So they've been there in the situation of, I have no idea what to do. I don't know what's going wrong, and I don't know how to fix it. Please help someone. So, but that is my podium for the day. Thank you for allowing me to stand on it. I will now pass it over to you, sir.
I'm alright. I'm good.
You sound kind of tired.
Nah, I'm alright. I'm just, while I was listening to your ear bashing, I was just configuring my truck, sort my lights out and stuff.
Did you just get that game, or have you had it for a while and just decided to pick it?
I've had this for 6 months, 8 months. I just haven't played it
Okay.
for such a long time. I thought, get back on it.
Hey, what are you eyeing next? I know that since I had sent you 20 and Dingo sent you 70, and that plane was like 50, are you gonna get something else with the rest of that donation? Do you have something else you're eyeing right now?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
No, quite happy with the King
The King Air.
Yeah.
I have not flown in a few days. I need to. I want to. I might stream tonight. I don't know. I want to get flying again. I'm starting to get that itch.
Oh,
I've been busy with the job, and then in my free time, I've been doing this coding thing. But I'm finally to a state where I'm fairly comfortable, coding wise.
I got a bit pissed off with everything that's going on with my computer, so I've just kind of gone back to something I know works. I can just literally press start, open up Streamlabs, and go. That's it. Simple as that. I haven't got any 12 of the different apps open at the same time and all that rigmarole. So I just get in it and go, sort of thing.
Yeah. Streaming and flying, it's a bit of a beat. It's a bit of a bear on a computer, especially if you want everything to look good.
Yeah. Well, it used to till the latest update, and I can't do shit.
Yeah, they really that latest update, they really did not optimize that very well.
So,
but in time they'll get it sorted.
yeah, eventually. It's just as and when, that's the problem. So I thought I might as well make the most of. I never streamed this, so I'll give this a go.
Stream it today.
Yeah.
There you go.
But no one is interested in it, believe it or not.
US 75.
Yeah.
Graphically, it looks good, and I've modded it as well to run on DirectX 11 because it's running DirectX 9. I found this thing you can mod it to run on 11. Just go into the config files. So it just seems to be a little bit smoother. It's not obviously optimised for DX11 because it's still running DX9 on the actual game, but it does seem a little bit smoother. It's not as stuttery and stuff now.
Nice.
So, I've got American Truck Simulator as well, which I haven't played that for a while. That's just a different, again, even though it's the same sort of thing, it's just obviously in America and it's different style of trucks and things, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
Some massive beasts. How far from home are you?
About 2 hours. And this was an easy call. I got out there and the job was already done.
What?
Huh?
How come it's already done?
Well, because the company that I was in, they have their own. They can train their store managers to be technicians to a certain degree, and so they are certified to deal with certain parts of their equipment. And so that one of those types of store managers had and just did it for them.
So
Not every store manager is certified that way, but in that case, they had one that was there helping out with something else, and just like, I'll put that in. And it was going to be a stupidly easy call. Like, I probably would have been able to do the job in under a half hour had I actually had to do it. But I did not have to do it.
Did they not think to cancel you when they'd done it?
Huh?
Did they not think to cancel you when you'd actually figured out they'd done the job?
Well, I could have called and found out, but with all of the scheduling thing that's been going on with this, that's another podium day for me to explain all that. But basically, long story short, it was going to be a hassle if I called them.
Okay.
That's another podium. That'll be for tomorrow. Thank you.
Tomorrow's stream.
Yeah, tomorrow's stream, I'll open it up with you giving me the podium because you're a nice guy. Drive away all your viewers.
I ain't got any. Genuinely not got enough. Streamed 3 or 4 times this week and I've not had one single view. I've lost them all.
You gotta talk, man.
Yeah, but it's hard to do when no one's there, isn't it?
It is. That's the hard part about streaming when you first get going is no one's there to talk to.
I'm not
You
used
gotta
to it.
you gotta teach yourself to talk
I'm not used
for no
to it.
reason.
I've not had it for such a long time.
Yeah, exactly. You're used to having like one of us around, or at least one of the group popping up in chat, and
Yeah. They probably look, it's like, X-Play 11, where's that gone? Right, I'm not watching it. And I'm not joking, I've had a few people unfollow as well because I've been playing this. Which I don't really give a shit about at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, some people are only there for the flight simming.
If you're that pedantic, I don't really want you on the stream.
Well, I can understand that. I can understand why you would only follow those you're interested in watching. If someone's gonna play something else, like I've done that before. I've unfollowed people that it's like, yeah, you're streaming stuff I just don't care to watch.
Yeah, but you don't have to watch it, do you? Watch it on other times when there's obviously a reason you did follow.
It's a matter of keeping the herd thin down. You go down your following list, and you want to be able to go through your following list and just see what you want to see. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna watch Grand Theft Auto 5 streams or Fortnite streams. I'm just not.
Anyway, I'll stream what I want to stream, and I'll play what I want to play.
The web page only displays so many people on that front page for you that you're following. So if I have a bunch of followers, they're all playing things I'm not going to watch. Why would I want to follow them?
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. Unless, of course, they're a friend of mine. Then, in which case, I'll continue to follow them and support their streams and share their streams.
Is this where I find it was you?
Huh?
This is where I find out it was you.
Yeah, I unfollowed. Sorry, you don't get a follower no more.
Good.
I'll hang out in your stream chat, but hell, I ain't giving you a follow. Those cost me money for me to follow you. Anyway. Anyhoozle. I'm excited. I haven't had a whole hell of a lot of sleep last 2 nights. Had a friend over both nights. So.
Dirty whore.
Yeah. Probably. For the record, it was the same friend both nights.
The same friend. It's always the same friend over.
Yeah, pretty much. That doesn't make me a whore then, I guess. I only wave my wand at specific people, okay? Come on now.
Yes, the only one, going back on the plane thing, the only one I'd probably be interested in would be TBM, but I'm not paying $65, and by the sounds of it, it's a frame rate killer, so I don't think my computer would handle it very well.
Well, there is a 2K texture pack for it, as opposed to the 4Ks that come with it. You can get the 2K versions, and apparently that is a lot better on frames. I never installed them when I had my old computer, but it is correct. On my old potato computer, it was a frame killer. It ate my frames alive. I couldn't. I really couldn't. I mean, I could use it, but it had to be clear weather, nothing going on kind of thing. I couldn't have anything other than just perfect flying conditions.
which defeats the
Which,
object.
how often do you get perfect flying conditions?
Depends where you live.
Well, yeah, if you live in the UK, there ain't nothing but rain all the time.
Wow, not had rain for 5-6 days now.
I thought that was like the British thing to do, like to always complain about the rain.
I don't care about that. I like the rain. I don't mind the weather.
Yeah.
I wish it'd snow more. Believe it or not.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, it might actually make our country start thinking about the infrastructure a bit more instead of being like, oh, well, it's every couple of years it snows, so we'll just deal with it for that week that it snows and just let everyone down. Whereas they'll actually, if it was a regular occurrence every single year, bang on for like a month, then they'd have to start thinking about the infrastructure a bit better, wouldn't they? And sorting out roads properly and bringing laws in where people have got to have certain tyres, winter tyres and stuff like that. So people just running summer tyres in the bloody winter and snow and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta, like where I live, you pretty much gotta have, a good all-weather tire, because we get everything out here, and we get a decent amount of it. So, Jesus, State Patrol is everywhere today.
Tell him I said hi.
Do what?
Tell him I said hi.
I will. Oh, come on. What is this guy doing? Oh, he's slowing down again. I see. I see why you're slowing down. Try not to tailgate you, but you are not even going the speed limit. I'm going to pass you. See ya! And it slows down a second time. Are you friggin' kidding me? I hate these small towns. Taking one of these highways through a small town, the speed limit dips down to nothing. And then you get some dingus who lives in that small town and his father time and drives 2 miles an hour down the road. I really do think that there needs to be, at a certain point, you can't be driving anymore.
Well,
as intrusive and annoying as it would be, but at a certain age,
or at least have it so.
There needs to start being regular driving tests for people.
I was gonna say have it every single year. You've got to pass a test, not a full-blooded hour-long, hour-and-a-half-long test, but just a 25-minute, 30-minute.
Little driving exam.
Yeah, not even with like a proper examiner, maybe just like a driving instructor who can sign it off, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think this person's fit still.
Yeah. And and have it gradually, start out, in like your 60s or something like that, where it's once every 5 years, and then in your 70s it's once every 2. The older you get, the more often it needs to be done.
80 plus every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Christ, my granddad was driving. My granddad was driving till he was, I think he was 92 or 93, I think my dad said, and he was still driving.
Yeah, and some people, they're perfectly competent to drive at that age, but other people, not quite so much.
It's like my other grandparents now, they're mid-80s, and I wouldn't say they should be on the road really. It scares the shit out of me that they drive.
My grandfather's nearly 90, and he drives perfectly. He's always driven a little bit on the slow side. He's always been that way, and he comes from that generation where they don't really use cruise control ever, so he's always accelerating and decelerating, but he's always driven like that. So I really don't see that that's a problem. That's not a degradation in his skills. It's the same skill he's always had.
It's a habit, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not very good at managing his speed to be, he's always dipping up. He's always popping up to the speed limit, and as he's going up a hill, he dips 10 miles an hour under or something like that, and it makes for a bit of a roller coaster when you ride with him. But he's had like a perfect driving record, so I mean, he's not a bad driver. But still, it's like you see these people, and they're like staring over their. You could tell that they can't really see the road very well, so they got their head cocked over their steering wheel. And they're just watching super carefully, like they're not checking their left or their right. They're so focused on what's in front of them that they can't see anywhere else. Because I drive a windowless vehicle, like my eyes are constantly watching for my blind spots.
Yeah.
Watching people coming up on my left or my right in my mirrors. Just, I keep track of where all the traffic is.
Believe it or not, driving is knackering.
Huh?
Driving is knackering concentration-wise.
Yeah, it is.
Driving long periods of time.
Yeah, I can tell you, I drive 1,000 miles a week, 1,000 to 2,000.
It's like when I
Depending on
drove
the
to the Nürburgring, which is about 800 miles, 850 miles each way. And it's kind of like, obviously you got a ferry as well between, but that just used to knacker me out. Literally knacker me out. Because like I'd do it solid, I wouldn't sleep or anything. I'd leave like sort of 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, and then we wouldn't get there till sort of 1 or 2 o'clock the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoy it, but yeah, by the time you got to Nürburgring, I'm just knackered. It's like I don't want to race. I don't want to go on the track today, just in case.
Yeah. Well, and if I get tired on the road, I'll stop off at a gas station and take a quick 3-minute nap, and that makes all the difference. There's many times where it's like I know that I'm not safe to drive. I'm driving like a drunk person, and I'll just pull off, the next gas station. But sometimes getting to that next gas station is not, because I'm not going to pull off and nod off on the shoulder. Not going to do that. That's how you die.
Yeah, that's illegal over here.
So they are tearing apart the roads up here. But I'm hoping I'm off this weekend. It's a Memorial Day weekend.
Is that a longer weekend, is it, or?
I hope it is. I don't know for sure. I need to text my boss and ask him, because it seemed to be from the emails that because in my previous working experience, if you were off call for the weekend and there was a holiday on the Friday or the Monday, immediately preceding or whatever or whatnot,
You'd have the Monday off.
You would have that holiday off. So there's a holiday on Monday and I'm off this weekend. So in my previous job, that would mean I would have Monday off too. And I hope that that's the case. I'm going to text him and find out. Because judging by the emails they've sent out, they didn't say it explicitly, but in the wording it seems like that's the case. So I just want to get the explicit yes or no, so that I know. Because I put my work phone in the deep freeze when I'm off call. Like, sorry, you're not going to get a hold of me on my work phone. I'm not going to respond. Bosses need to know that when I'm off, I'm off.
Yep.
That can't expect nothing out of me when I'm off. So.
And you don't want to just turn your phone off and then be called into the office Tuesday morning, where were you?
Yeah, exactly. It's one thing if it was all, if I was scheduled off and they assigned something to me over the weekend and I don't go there because of that, that's on them.
Yeah.
Whereas if I turn my phone off and they assign something to me and it is my weekend on and I miss it, and then that's on me.
Well, it's Whitsun. It's something called Whitsun in the UK, so it's like all the kids are on half term, so if you're about, I can fly. And then Tuesday morning, I've got a medical, so I've got to drive 2 hours up to my medical. So I'm busy the Tuesday.
Yeah. I do kind of like, sometimes with this job, one of the perks is that, I'm out driving on the countryside. Sometimes it's just nice to see the green grass, the fields. It's very relaxing. ain't much to look at, but it is nice just to get out. It's, you know, you get out there in the greenery. So.
Yeah, you see, even though you're not really stopping, you probably see a lot of places you never would normally see.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been on stretches of road that I would have never have gone down. There are some really beautiful stretches of road out in this part of the country. You know, they're very few and far between. You know, in between the really beautiful areas, just nothing but there's a lot of just nothing but cornfields, rolling hills of grass.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that, but then there's stretches where you got exposed cliff sides, you know, and just some really beautiful forested scenery, and it's just, you know, it's just great stuff to look at. Stuff that you just want to like pull off on the side of the road and go explore, you know. I don't know if you ever get that desire, but I get that a lot. I just want to be like, hey, can I just pull off the road here and just go down there and look. That's not strictly legal. You can't really do that. You know, you don't know what that property could be, but I wish you could.
Trespassers will be shot.
Yeah. Because there is in my town, there's what's known as the Fontanelle Forest, just on the outskirts of town. And you can go there and wander around. There's like little paths through it and all that good stuff. And while that's nice, it's, you know, on one side of that forest sits civilization. You know, it's not one of those places you can go to that everywhere you look around you, it's just nothing but nothing. You know, it's just all wildlife, scenery and stuff. I wish there was more of that you could go to out this way. There really isn't. Because there's bound to be a farm within 10 miles of where you're at, anywhere in my state. 10, 20 miles, you're going to find a farm. That or you'll be walking through a pasture and not even realize it. You know, it's grassland owned by someone, and all of a sudden, there you'll see some cattle just wandering about. Like, well, that's definitely somebody's.
Right, fuck it. Let's go to Europe. Let's take the ferry across.
Later. 2 hours to return. Had a pretty good week, actually. Despite yesterday's frustration, it's been a good week.
Frustration job yesterday.
Well, I went out to work out on a drive-through camera, and it's just a little camera mounted inside of a dome above a drive-through that anytime an order is submitted in drive-through, it takes a picture of the car, so the person handing out the order at the window knows what car to give it to.
Yep.
So, I went out there to deal with a camera that wasn't responding. And so my first day I go out there and I troubleshoot it, and it's giving me all of the indications of just a bum camera. You know, I've replaced a dozen of these cameras in a couple of years. And so I know how it works. I know what to look for and what typically is the indication of a bum camera. So I order a replacement camera. It's not something I typically carry, and it's not something we're expected to typically carry because it's a really rare thing that you have to change one out anyway. So I ordered a replacement, and I went back. It got delayed for a couple days because of inclement weather, but finally the weather was good, and I got there. And I put the new camera in, and the new camera's doing the same thing the old one did.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh shit. And so I test their network run because it's being powered over their Ethernet. and the network run is missing the inner links of the connection. There are eight cables inside an Ethernet cable, and I'm missing the inside. So they're all numbered 1 through 8, and so I'm missing the insides of it, and I got the outsides working. So I re-terminate it, which means put a new end on the cable to give it all good. I test it again, still the same problem, which means that somewhere the cable is frayed, and that cable, that part of the connection is completely broken off, and what was really frustrating about it was that's not necessarily the super frustrating part. It's that the manager that was on duty my second time there, he tells me that, well, when they installed our digital menu boards outside, that's when the camera stopped working. He goes, I think that someone, maybe snipped it or broke the cable when they installed all that. And
thanks for telling me that before.
If I had that information going out there before I had ordered the part, because typically I don't take the camera out of the housing. It's a pain to get the camera out of the housing, and it's a pain to put it back in. So typically, if I see the signs of a bum camera, then I'll just order the camera and come back out and replace it. Because 99 times out of 100, that's exactly what the issue is going to be, because that cable just goes untouched. It sits inside of a conduit and it never gets touched, and there's no reason for it to be jostled or broken or nothing. So the idea that there's going to be a bad cable is so sketch, and it's sealed off from the elements. There's no water that's going to get in there or nothing. So just like because I'm working for this new company, I didn't know if I got to put in that cable or anything like that. So it was it took a couple of phone calls. My boss was like, yeah, they're going to have a cabling crew come out there. And I go, well, am I going to be part of that crew? And he goes, no, probably not. They're going to have someone else out there to do that. Because I warned him, I go, who knows? Because they had to put these little pylons in to put in their outside new menu board, their digital menu board. So they might have damaged the underground conduit. That might need replaced, which would mean they'd have to dig it up, which would be a bitch of a job.
Yep. Closing the drive-through and everything.
Yeah, that would be an all-day affair. And it was a bit relieved that that at the end of the day, I diagnosed it and got to walk away. It's like, well, this is not my problem now. So that's kind of nice. But on the other hand, it's really frustrating that if I had that packet of information going out there, I would have gone out there. The first thing I would have done was tested that cable. I would have pulled the camera out of the housing, stuck my dongle on one end, tested it, and I would have found the problem right away, and I could have saved a journey.
Well, I've got a broken truck at the moment. The air pressure's gone on it. She ain't moving nowhere.
Rip.
There we go.
Ripperoni. Deutsch dead.
Oh, good.
DED.
We're off.
Nope, you're dead.
I got a ticket though, because I was halfway through the red lights when it stopped.
Rip. Oh, it automatically gives you tickets? It's not one of those, only if a cop sees it do you get a ticket?
Yeah. Like if you're caught speeding, you go through a speed camera, it'll give you a ticket. It won't just give you a ticket for speeding. If you go through a red light, it'll give you a ticket. If you crash into something, you get a ticket and a fine sort of thing, damages.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite intuitive, but the AI can be a fucking arsehole sometimes. Like you'll be in a corner and then all of a sudden this bus will just come head on with you. You're like, hang on, I'm in a massive arctic here. How am I meant to get through there? Give me a break.
Yeah. A lot of people that don't drive a lot, they don't really they don't understand how to really watch traffic and how to understand what other people are doing before they do it. You spend enough time out on the road, you know when someone's about to do something. They don't have to signal it. You know they're about to do it.
By the way they position the car, or the way the car's angled, or where they
The
are
way
on
they're
the
cocking
road.
their head, or
Yeah. Or you can see them on their phone.
Yep. I can't tell you how many times I've avoided getting drilled because I just was watching. I had one guy, I was sitting at a red light, and so I'm sitting there, and the light turns green, and this guy behind me honks his horn at me, you know, to get moving.
Yeah.
And what he didn't realize is that I was watching this guy about to run the red light going crossways, and he ran it. If I had pulled out, you know, when I normally was supposed to, or I pulled out when that guy had honked me, I would have been T-boned. You know, it's like, and I wish that I had, you know, if I was not in a windowless vehicle, I wish I could have turned my head and looked back at him and nodded at him and like, yeah, that's why I didn't go.
Dickhead. Should have flipped him the
Yeah.
bird. Flipped him the bird.
I'd listened to you. I might have been dead.
Right, I'm in Europe now. Remember, I've got to go on the left-hand side of the road. Wrong side.
Let's see. I got how many miles here? 79 miles, 680. I got 89 miles to empty. So really don't want to have to get gas. So one of my former bosses at my previous job, I was texting her,
Yeah.
and she got accepted into all 3 flight schools that she applied to.
Huh.
So, and it's one of those, you know, when you come out of it, she's gonna be flying like an Embraer 175 or something like that.
It's proper.
I mean, once you're all said and done, that's that's what you'll be flying, and you're guaranteed a job. Such and such airport.
Huh.
As a thinking like 60 grand a year, I think, something like that. Which ain't bad money.
No. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're doing
You
something
live
you
in
love.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't know. They say that if you do what you love and make money at it, you'll be really happy. You know, but I think that anything that you do for quote unquote work, you know, even there's a certain degree of unhappiness that comes with it. You're kind of forced to do. It's one thing if you do something out of fun and you just do it on the side because you enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to get a pen testing certificate. If you know what that is.
No.
It sounds bad. It's an abbreviation, and what it's abbreviated for makes it sound even worse. It's penetration testing, which sounds even worse. But what it is there are different sides of it. But you're hired to break into a building. That's what you're essentially doing. You're testing their security. So, and there's different types of pen testing. There's physical penetration testing. There's digital. There's, you know. But I think that would be a fun thing to do to get certified to do it, and then just do it as a side gig. You know, you just do it a few times a year. You go out on those, and you just get to go out there and play robber.
Yep.
For a day. You know, you get to lie and you get to cheat. You get to tell people and do terrible things because they paid you to do it. he there was one guy I was watching. He was giving a talk about it, and he's like, he got hired to do this job at a bank, and he posed as a IT guy coming in there to fix stuff, corporate guy, and all that good stuff. And he got asked to look at a couple things while he was there. And one of the things about pen testing is that if you're going to pose as a plumber, don't be surprised when you walk into a building and you get asked to do some plumbing. So you got to be careful about what what your cover story is, because you better be willing to do it. And so he was posing as an IT guy, and a corporate IT guy, someone fairly up the chain. And so this branch manager was taking him around the bank, showing him all these various things. And his response was, oh, he'd look at it and fiddle with it, make it look like he was trying to fix it. And then, after a few minutes of getting nowhere on it, he would then go, well, you know what? We're doing the refurb of some of this equipment. I'll just send you a new one of these. We'll get you a whole new equipment. And then after a few more of those, he's like, you know what? We're doing a bunch of remodels on a bunch of branches. Because you've got so many problems, I'm gonna put you to the top of the list. and so finally, after everything got said and done, he obviously got into the bank and got what he wanted to get, as far as the penetration was successful. So the security was weak. And afterwards, at the meeting discussing it, that branch manager raised his hand, and he's like, "Do we still get all the new equipment?" The guy's like, "No, I was lying to you." He's like, "I felt like I kicked a puppy. I felt so bad." Because he was genuinely disappointed by that.
He's probably thrown a team meeting saying, "Yep, we're getting all new equipment, guys." Now he's going to explain what a jackass he is, and not only that, he's also compromised the bank.
Yeah, he was telling a story about getting into one bank, and he was doing a network, a network test, penetration test as well. And there's things known as in scope and out of scope. Things that you can do and things you cannot do. And well, what was in scope was anything on their network. That was in scope. Well, this bank had a charity organization that was on their network. And it was ran by the bank. It was a charitable branch of that bank. And not a branch of the bank, but a charitable branch of the company.
Yeah.
And because it was all on the same network, as opposed to trying to break into the bank to get into the network, he instead attacked the charitable organization, posing as a TV producer. Which is really hilarious. Like, because when you think about IT security, what's probably going to be the safest place? A place that has a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
What's not going to be safe? Charitable organization. They ain't going to have any IT gurus or any security, but it's on the same network. Which means you break in there, you can get everywhere else.
Oh god. But they hire a lot of these hackers as well, don't they? Like this, what's that big event they have in America where like hackers go to?
DEF CON.
DEF CON, yeah. They have like hire hackers, don't they, and stuff to each year just to pay them to get into their networks and see how strong it is and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's penetration testing, yep. Or pen testing for short. But yeah, that's a buddy of mine actually has that. He's got a certificate in that. He can do it. And I've thought about doing it.
Do it. It pays well.
Well, that's the thing. Penetration testing itself does not pay well. It's one of those things that you do it as a side job a few times a year to make an extra buck.
Okay.
It's not something that you can do regularly because it requires a lot of travel. And, how many places in a town are going to need you to test something,
Yeah, the bank can only be broken into so many times.
Yeah. And even so, it's one of those little security audits they might do per annum, or, maybe only once every 5 years, or when the EO gets a crazy hair. It wouldn't be such a bad thing doing like working to get bug bounties. That's not an official job, but essentially what you do is you can, buy a piece of equipment or something like that, or acquire a piece of equipment and try to find bugs in it. And when you find those bugs that are security vulnerabilities, you then submit it to the company that manufactured it and say, look, here's a bug, and if that company has a bug bounty, they'll pay you.
Yeah.
You know, if you find a major vulnerability in their stuff, they want to know about it. And when all that first started to come about, it came from hackers extorting companies. But eventually, companies started to realize that why let these people extort us? Why not just offer a bug bounty? People will fix our problems for us and tell us, and all we got to do is just give them a little bang for their buck.
Yep.
You know, give them a little squeeze for it.
We haven't got to pay someone permanently to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was watching a video on network cameras of all things, given that I just worked on one. And the guy was exploiting vulnerabilities in a network camera, and I have one of those brands of cameras, and I am tempted to follow his talk and to see if I can exploit my own camera the same way, because I have an IP camera in my living room. So. So I am tempted to see if I can do what he says he can do.
So what is he?
See if it's the same vulnerability.
Hacked into the computer through the camera or something?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about hacking. You know, people don't always attack. When someone hacks into your network, they don't attack your computer first. They get in through something else. That's usually how it always happens. They get in through the most vulnerable target is usually online printers. You know, network connected printers are the most vulnerable. They have a really bad rap for being just easy and trivial for hackers to get into your network. Because once they get into your network, you know, then they have time.
Yeah.
You know, once they're sitting in on a device and they can sit there for a long time, they can sit there and keep working at exploiting your computer, because computers are actually pretty hard to hack into. They're pretty well safe and secure. If you have an updated Microsoft system, it's not necessarily easy to bust into.
Yeah.
You really gotta spend some time, and you gotta do a bunch of stuff. Not something you're gonna want to do from the outside of the network. Instead, you're gonna go for something easy, something to get a foothold in the network, and then you can sit there and work at it for a few days and slowly work your way into it. You know, you can bypass any lock with enough time.
But then you've got to have someone that's worth doing it to as well.
Exactly.
Your
Mom,
average,
Pop,
your average Joe,
not
like
worth it.
me or you, or you know what I mean? It's the corporate people, the business people, the people you can exploit and get more out of.
Outside of spear phishing emails, which still, to this day, spear phishing works. And now it's changed over to social media. So spear phishing online on social media is a thing. You see that all the time. You ever see those Ray-Bans links that get shared on Facebook?
Yeah.
Like, you know that comes from one of your friends or one of your friends' friends clicking a link that they should not have clicked, and it got shared because of it. Like, they got spear phished.
Idiota.
Yeah.
I saw one earlier. Speaking of it.
Yeah, I just saw one the other day. My brother was tagged in it, and I'm like, so, and I know my brother does not have the brightest of friends, so it's just like, well, that explains that one. And that's the thing, the people that I see sharing it are always the dum-dums in my friend list. Like, no surprise you got spear phished. I had a friend of mine, he got phone scammed into giving his bank information not once, but twice.
Fuck's sake. Anyone
How?
anyone who rings me up, even if I'm pretty sure 100% it's my bank, I don't talk to them. I'll be like, right, I'll ring you back. I'll call you back.
Yeah, the bank will never call you and ask for your account information.
No.
They have it. They know your account information.
The only thing they'll ask for is to confirm your email, your password, and maybe your telephone number just to get into the account. You know what I mean? That'll be it. But they won't ask you the password. They'll ask you like the first 12 letters or whatever it is.
Maybe, yeah. But either way, it's just like, chances are they're not going to call you. They're going to send you like a letter or a phone call with a notice to return the phone call.
Yeah.
You know, call the bank, blah blah blah. You know, banks don't do that. But how my buddy got jammed by that twice? Like, you didn't learn the first time? Like, come on, man.
And when I was working at the drugstore, you know, there was you know, they had like prepaid Visa gift cards and all that good stuff. People would get phone scammed and be asked to go to the store and pick up one of those cards, and then, you know, relay that account information over the phone to someone. You know, they get shammed into it, and there's been many times where I would get some elderly person or someone who just didn't really know any better, and they would be telling me what's going on, because when they were buying one of those cards, you know, it just I would get a little bit nosy, because that's a thing. You know, it's for their protection that I'd be asking questions. And some people get a little miffed that I'm asking them questions, but those questions oftentimes tell me if someone's about to get scammed out of their money.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like I'd stopped quite a few of those in my time working at the drugstore. It's just like I would tell people, no, you're being scammed right now. This is what they're gonna do. And they did it to managers. They would call the store posing to be from one of these companies, and they wanted you to run a test activation on one of the cards. You know, so they would have you go to the register, ring out the card, you know, and then provide the account number on the card, you know, and say, okay, yeah, you're all good, it worked, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me.
But meanwhile, the moment that you gave them the account information on that card, they had already pulled the money away from it. They had already used it. It's already gone. So no matter what you did, it was gone. So they sent out notices, and they tried calling my store while I was on duty twice to get me with that scam, and I just ran them through the ringer. I wasted their time.
Hey Greenball.
I had
Welcome, man.
Huh?
So I saw in chat. Say hello to him.
Hello, chat. I just totally ran them through the ringer. It was great. Because the more time they spend with me, the less time they are actually stealing money.
Greetings.
So the more I can waste their time, the better.
Watch the birdie. Jeez, I cracked myself.
Thank you, Greenball, for the follow. Appreciate that, man. Welcome. If you've not seen me before, this is something new that we've started streaming. Euro Truck. Normally, me and the voice that you can hear, Mr. Mellon, we normally stream X-Plane, but I've gone for something a little bit different. And he likes to join me so he can rant, as you can hear.
I like to steal the podium, and I'm just gonna do it.
I just keep you company while you're driving hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Use and abuse and throw me to the side, that's what we do.
Exactly.
I feel like your ex-girlfriend.
Well, maybe you are my ex-girlfriend.
What, have I got a voice changeover?
Yeah, well, no, she was a bit manly sounding.
I agree, but
There was a reason that she's my ex. We went to the bed, she whipped out a dick, and I ran away.
Shocking. Yeah, there's I know what you mean, Greenball. There's not many people who plays it that I watch either. There's Squirrel, I think his name's Squirrel. He's an English chap. I know he plays it. He's a big chap who streams this. He's got a lot of followers.
Big chap.
Yeah, I drive UK because that's what I'm used to, believe it or not. Not that my driving's doing much cop at the moment. It's probably a bit like my flying as well.
I've heard that, and from my experience with flight simming, that flying is actually easier than driving.
It probably is. It's just instrument reading. The only thing with flying is your visuals and all your comms. That's the main thing.
Well, yeah, but once you're up in the air and you're clear of adverse weather, there's not a lot of work that you need to do.
No.
You don't have to be super conscious of everything like you do when you're driving. Flying.
Man, I was looking at aviation headsets today. Like real life.
Oh, they're expensive.
Fucking hell. That one that
How much are they running?
Aiden bought, you know, the one he posted up on the Discord,
Yeah.
£950. So what's that, about $1,200?
Yeah.
£950. And those, you know, the standard ones you see everyone use, the greeny coloured ones,
Yeah.
they're about 350 quid.
But that ain't that bad. I've got a set of studio headphones that I use for music and for my recording, stuff like that. And those get really expensive really fast.
Those ones that Aiden
probably
bought
spent like,
are Bose, aren't they?
huh?
The ones that Aiden bought are Bose, aren't they?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to catch up on my Discord the last 2 days. I need to. It's my Discord. I'm gonna keep up on it. Be active. I need to stream more. I need to get back to it. You know, streaming a few times a week at least.
Sometimes I feel like I'm running it for you. Sometimes.
You ain't running it.
The only thing you're running is your mouth.
You are hardly on the Discord anymore.
Yeah, I just sit in the background and read and moderate for you.
You just presumptuously tag everyone in your stream notification.
Yeah, I've got to get some followers, and no one follows me anymore. Even you don't subscribe to me anymore, you bastard.
Hey, it was gifted to me. I can't. I'm already over my subscription monthly.
Whatever.
I got other people I subscribe to right now, and I limit myself to $20 a month for subscriptions.
Whatever. I know how it is.
You know, otherwise my temptation to just be a nice guy, I would be spending $100 a month on subscriptions before I knew it.
And that's what I've like limited myself now. I like literally Feral at the moment is the only one I do, and then I've got my Prime one. So I'm waiting for you to stream so I can use that for you this month. I used it on Finn last month, so I'm going to try and alternate it between you and Finn. Because you're being a pen in the S and not streaming. Or streaming at stupid o'clock.
I'm your favorite pain in the ass. You're welcome.
Streaming at bloody stupid o'clock in the morning because you're in the wrong time zone.
I'm in the right time zone.
You're in the
what you want about?
time zone. Completely wrong time zone.
This is America. We always get it right after exhausting all other alternatives.
You can't keep using them. Can't keep using that lame excuse.
Yes, I can. It's not an excuse. There is a difference between an excuse and a reason. It's alright. Next time you guys get bloody taken over by Germany again, we'll have to come over there and bail your ass out for the third time.
Here we go.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna get taken over by someone at some point. We'll have to go over there and bail you out again. You're welcome.
You didn't bail shit out, mate. We held our own right up until D-Day.
Exactly. Held your own. You were just barely hanging on, about to lose.
No, they never even...
You were reliant on having a body of water saving your happy ass.
Never even invaded us.
You're welcome.
I'm not welcome for shit.
Just a matter of time before you had folded. But, you know, because we're the cool guys, we came over there. We don't care if France or Germany or Spain gets taken over. We didn't care too much. Britain, on the other hand, we went over there and saved your happy ass. I don't know why we had the War of Independence. We had it for a reason. We shouldn't have saved you.
That's all I hear at the moment. Where actually?
America! Fuck yeah! Excellent!
Such a jackass. Typical American. Typical American.
Yep. Just so that you understand, the Americans know that Americans are jackasses. To be expected. Like there's not a question in our minds that we are not entitled douchebags. If you talk to an American who doesn't realize that or isn't conscious of that, they're not an American.
Well, they're from
LA. They're Southern. They're Southern. That's their problem. They're Southern.
Right, what we got? Ooh, 10 grand.
Because only in the South, the South bitches about participation trophies, but yet they lost the Civil War and they got trophies. They make monuments to their heroes of the Civil War, despite the fact they lost.
Are you,
They don't. History does not build monuments to losers.
you still talking?
It doesn't make any sense.
Are you still talking?
Yeah, I am.
Ooh, got a job.
Nobody cares about who lost the football game. People only care about who won. I love it.
The viewers aren't loving it.
Sponsored by McDonald's.
Yeah, I should get sponsored by them. Just know the amount of times I have to sing that.
It is a catchy little jingle. Apparently, like the Apple Corporation spent a stupid amount of time and money figuring out their unanimous ringtone that's on every Apple phone ever.
The boring
That
old,
one
old
ringtone
classic
that
one.
no one ever changes.
Yeah. That everyone thinks it's their phone.
Yeah, that thing that everyone has as the ringer. And it says something that people don't change it. Like they nailed it on the ringer. Like it's just the right amount of annoying versus attention grabbing versus catchy. It's the right balance of all of them. Because if it leaned any too much to one way, people would move away from it real quick.
Yeah, but what you got to remember is ringtones aren't as big as what they used to be back in the day with the Nokia and stuff, are they? That was big money back in the day. That was.
Yeah, at the start, just before smartphones became a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were services where you would buy ringtones. Like, I remember, I think I spent like $10 on ringtones, something like that. Bought like 3 ringtones, something like that.
Rocky
back
Eye,
in the day.
Rocky Eye of the Tiger.
No, that's by the band Survivor, by the way.
Who cares?
But yeah, I do remember that was business. Now it's like, meh, you ain't gonna make money on that. Everything is switching over to pay per monthly, and that is so annoying. Like apps, you want to have a good app. There are some apps that I've bought, but now I limit myself to apps you can just pay for it one time. I don't want to freaking pay monthly for these apps.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being cheap, and I understand it. The developer deserves to get a bone for their work, and so that it can continue to be developed upon. But it's just like it's not worth it to me sometimes.
Ooh, let's hopefully I'll make that. I'm running out on my hours for driving. I'm hoping I can make the next stop.
Like the Join app that I have, that is like the most useful app I've ever found.
The what?
Join.
So
It's for Android, so you can't get it for Apple, which is good. No one likes Apple anyway. But what it essentially does is it allows you to text from multiple devices. It all connects to the same thing. It's also an extension for Google Chrome browser. So this way, I can see my text messages from my computer, and it'll alert me, and I can send text messages. It'll also allow me to share links between my devices or send files across. It does it all, makes it all super easy. So, if I'm out on the road and there's a YouTube video that I want to watch, or someone sends me a link or something like that, and I don't really want to look at it on the phone, I can just send the link to my computer. When I get home, pop the computer, it'll pop the link up for me. Or it'll be in the little history there of the app for me to look at, and on my computer, and I can just pull it up that way. It's really handy. Super useful, especially with like file transferring. I literally just share. I can hit share to my tablet, share to my computer. I can share to my laptop. Super handy. Because how many times do you have something on your phone you want to get on your computer? You got to grab the cable, plug it in, allow it, find it, put it in there, you know.
Yep.
And it's even faster than doing it through, like, you know, uploading it to your Google Drive and then going to the website, because then you don't even have to go to the website. It just automatically loads it for you. I drop it onto my computer from my phone, and the computer just pops it right up. There it is. Whoop.
Oh, that'll be a crack.
And it's not a monthly price. I bought it once. I paid $6 one time. You get a 30-day free trial to try it. Great. And it doesn't automatically charge you after 30 days. You know, it'll just stop working right after 30 days if you don't choose to buy it. But I loved it. It's like, that's worth every penny to me. The amount of use I've gotten out of it, definitely worth it. Because I have a lot of devices. I have, you know, my work phone, my personal phone, a tablet. I have my work computer, my laptop, my personal computer. Yeah. Lots of stuff. We got some Bob Ross guys out here right now, let me tell you.
Some
It's pretty beautiful.
Happy little clouds.
Happy little clouds right there. Just gonna go ahead and paint in a happy little. It's your world. You can put in whatever you like. Don't worry about it.
Don't change, don't change, don't change. Bastard. I went through that on yellow and they give me a ticket. Arseholes.
You know, I gotta say, my new boss at this new job is actually a generally really cool dude.
Hmm?
My old boss is kind of naggy, kind of petty and little things and very tedious about everything. Whereas this new boss, he just kind of, I call him and, you know, if he misses the call, he'll call back 10, 15 minutes or something like that, or whatever, call you back. But he's always pleasant.
That means he's plotting.
Could be.
He's pleasant.
But I
because he
tell
knows
you-
some shit's about to hit the fan. He's trying to keep you sweet.
Well, I will say, just by generally being a nice guy, it's got me out of a lot of scrapes. It really does. You really do catch more bees with honey than with vinegar.
Yeah.
It really does work. There's been many times when I probably should have gotten into trouble, but because, you know, I was confessing to things in such a nice way that you just can't get mad at me. Like, I dropped a server one time. Just like, yeah, did that. Whoops. Broke it. Fell on the ground, busted. It was my bad. I also whacked my van's mirror on the garage one time. Called my boss. Yeah, I did that. Sorry.
Why is it that clouds in this game are better than X-Blade?
Because you don't have to get super close to them. That's the thing about X-Plane. Like, there are some cloud textures that look great at a distance. But you get up closer and you start to fly through them, they look like total garbage. It's a matter of finding a good balance. That's what the FS enhancer thing. You know, from what I've heard, the clouds at a distance look great that they provide.
Yeah.
But you start to get up close, they really fall apart. But I've got X-Viro now, or X-Vision. Yeah, I have X-Vision.
Yeah, so that could be a good shot.
And I think that looks great. It's phenomenal.
I'm just wondering if that boosts my frames because it might make the clouds a bit better. I don't know. Because the default X-Plane
Maybe.
clouds do look good, but
Yeah, they actually don't look bad at all. Like, there's a lot of time if you get good orthos and a good sky texture.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really not much of a reason to change away from the default clouds. I can understand changing out your weather engine, but there's not much of a reason to change out the texture. They actually look pretty good. Although this is the kind of sky condition I'm in right now when I'm driving through. This is the kind of sky condition that X-Plane never got it right until I finally got X-Vision. X-Vision makes this sky condition look right. Just overcast. Like it always felt too gray. Overcast is typically gray, but it always felt like it was like muddy gray. If you know what I mean?
The visuals as well, distance-wise, it's always quite a bit harder to see, isn't it?
Yeah, and it makes finding an airport nearly impossible. If it's a small little podunk airport, you fly into a major airport, you'll see the buildings, but it's just one of those little podunk airports where there's nothing there. It's just a strip. Even if it's just a concrete strip, you ain't gonna see it because everything is grayed out. You ain't gonna see it. You can't see it until you're only a mile or two away, and you might not be lined up on final. There might not be an approach procedure. And it's already hard enough to manage your views in the simulator. You can fly over the airport, but it's hard to keep your eye on the airport. You can't, just easily look out a window and look at it. It takes a little view management.
Yep. Right, I'm going to leave it there because I have got how many more miles to go? I've got 465 miles to go, 10 hours 26 to get to the destination. Ouch.
Better get hauling.
Right, I'm going to leave the stream there, guys. Greenball, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it as always, and
See you, stream.
check us out on the next one. Laters.